guys, Laura here from Laura Likes. Today we have a homeschool video. I have for you actually 10 tips, but I'm going to break them down to 2 videos with 5 tips each, just so it's just a bit easier for me to film and a bit easier for you to digest, not everything at once. So today I have for you 5 tips, and then next week I'll have an additional 5 tips for you as well. Before I get started, I just want to say welcome. If you are a returner, then hi, nice to see you again. If you are new, then welcome. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And everybody, make sure that you like this video at the end. Liking a video, just in general on YouTube, really helps out the creator. It gets the video suggested. It just really helps YouTube to say, hey, this is a video people like. I'm going to bump up that creator. Also, I always have my Amazon storefront link down below. That's another way that you can support my channel. If I mention a book, if you want to see what I use for homeschooling, anything that I buy off Amazon, I will have linked somewhere in my store. And then I do have a Patreon account. We pray the rosary live once a month, and it's just a perk for you guys. It's also nice, you know, obviously when we're 2 more gathered, there Jesus is, and so praying the rosary together is really powerful, and I would love if you could join us in there. That's just $1 a month, and it supports videos that YouTube will not monetize. Alright, enough housekeeping. So let's move on to the tips. So tip number 1 is to have a plan. This is really anything in life, whether it comes to meal planning, housework, anything. If you have a plan, it happens better. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with taking the thoughts out of your brain and putting them on paper, and then not having to keep thinking about it. Like, I need to do math, I need to do math, I need to do math, I need to do math. You know, write down, you know, math is at 9 a.m. or math is the first subject or the 3rd subject we hit in the morning, or whatever you do your homeschool. And it's going to be just such a different situation. So with Seton, we have been so lucky. They gave us a teacher planning book, and I'm also using other courses besides Seton, but the majority of our school is Seton, and when you enroll, they give you lesson plans, and so I've been using that to structure our weeks. It's been amazing having a plan, saying this day we're doing this vocabulary page, and this day we're doing this page, you know, English lesson, and it's just amazing. I also use checklists for things like all about reading and other things like that. That's another video that I'll be doing soon on how we use our curriculum, what curriculum we use, that kind of thing. But have a plan. Have a plan on when you start your homeschool day. Have a plan on the order of subjects you teach, what subjects you teach together, what subjects you teach apart. This is probably like basic homeschooling 101, but as someone who's been most of the time an unplanner or like a soft homeschooler, having a plan is kind of new to me, and it's been a really big game changer and really consistently making progress, like day by day and week by week. So have a plan. Number 2, protect your school time. Now, I am someone who loves to run errands in the morning. That's just when I have the most energy. That's when I want to be out of the house. Usually places aren't very busy in the morning, and so that's when I like to run errands. And up until this year, I have not protected my homeschool time. Even though I know my kids' brains are way more primed to do math, reading, English, vocab, whatever, in the morning, as opposed to 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So this year, I've tried very hard to protect school time. And Pam Barnhill talks about treating your homeschool like a job. Like, treat your homeschool and your homeschooling and being that teacher as one of the most important things you do in a day, or the most important thing you do in a day. And treat it like a job, right? With a clock in time and a clock out time. And that may work for some people, may not work for other people, but I do find that if you do protect your homeschooling time, which for us is between 8:30 in the morning to 11 a.m., if I really protect that and I stick to my schedule and we're consistently starting on time, I mean, that's one of the keys. You have to start on time to really protect that time and not make it turn into a whole day. It really does help. So if you have errands to run every day, like I tend to, find a different time in the day where you can do that doesn't conflict with your homeschool. So we run errands ideally after lunch now, but before school for the rest of the world gets out. Number 3, work in breaks for yourself and for your kids. So if you have read The Rule of Motherhood, or A Mother's Rule of Life, she talks a lot about scheduling everybody, but not just one schedule, but having like mom and then the time and then kids like listed out. And so that you can be doing different things but in the same time slot. It's really cool. In our homeschool, we start at 8:30, we do morning time. 9 o'clock is when I start working one-on-one with Neil and get pretty much all of his kindergarten done in like 20 minutes. And then we have a recess for 30 minutes. And that recess for them is literally, they go outside and play for 30 minutes in most weather. And for me, it's a chance to maybe get another cup of tea, maybe wipe the bathrooms down, sit down, read a book, work on YouTube. I mean, whatever it is that I feel like I want to get done, budget, whatever it is. Then I get those 30 minutes and I know I get them. It's not very long. And sometimes I actually just go outside and play with kids. And that's fine too, because it's just a break. It's just a little break in the day. It's not my only break in the day, but it's my break during homeschool. Number 4, don't take it personally if they struggle. This is so much easier said than done for some of us, because it's like, why don't you get it? Especially if your kid processes information differently than you do. Like, and the other day, Neil was just like, he just couldn't get through anything. And I barely have him doing anything. He does Matthew C, Alpha, and we're doing Seton, like first grade phonics. And that's about it, and some Bob books. But he just was just kind of being goofy, and like, I can't do it, I couldn't figure it out. And so I got kind of upset with him. And then I went over to him later, I'm like, Neil, are you just having a bad brain day? He's like, yeah, he thought it was really funny. He's like, I'm having a bad brain day. And so I just excused him from school. I think we had done a little bit of morning time together anyway, which is where you put your most important things, you know, your truth, beauty, and goodness. And so it wasn't like he wasn't going to learn anything that day. It just wasn't the formal subjects. You know, I just know that I have bad brain days, days where it just isn't processing properly. And so it's silly to think that kids won't have those days too. And so it's just important for us not to take it personally. My husband struggled in school, and he is like, oh my gosh, the worst thing you can do is get frustrated with her, because then she's going to think she's doing something wrong. So, or him, they seem kind of wily, you know, get up and have them do 10 jumping jacks. This is why you homeschool, is so we can be flexible. And sure, kids at some point need to understand how to sit still for an hour or 2 hours, but that's not required for a while. There's no reason why you have to expect a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old to do that. And so make school enjoyable. It doesn't have to look like a classroom. That was the whole point, is we're homeschooling because we don't really think the classroom is the ideal situation, right? We think the home is. So go get Jonathan Bean's book, This Is My Home, This Is My School. See how that homeschool is portrayed, and then, you know, loosen it up a bit if you need help, so that you're not taking it personally when they have their struggles, because learning is hard. And number 5, inspire independence. So we use a spiral notebook for Chloe, and so ideally every night I sit down and I write out what she's off of my plan. I would just write off what she's doing the next day, and the majority of it is independent work. Now, in that 30 minutes while I'm working with Neil, she's not getting all of her independent work done. It's just probably too much, depending on what the math is. The math itself can take the whole 30 minutes, or she might not get to handwriting. But what she can do herself, I let her do herself, because one, it's encouraging independence. She's in 3rd grade. It's time to start learning that. You know, the whole point is we don't want to be these helicopter parents who are, you know, babysitting our kids when they're 12 and they don't know how to do anything for themselves at 12. I expect her to do most of her work by herself. And I watched this really inspiring YouTube video, I'll see if I can find it, where this mom has 6 kids. And she did the same thing. They all had planners, and even the littlest one was checking off boxes by herself and figuring out what to do by herself. So I just think that we can't be too independent too early. As long as you're coming together and doing subjects as a family as well, reading living books together, you know, reading read alouds, I don't think that you should ever step off your child's education and never work on with them, because I think there's a really lovely parenting aspect to that as well. But, you know, the things that they can do on their own, do on their own. And then make sure you're grading that stuff, make sure that you're giving them feedback, so they don't feel like they're just doing busy work, but that they're actually having this like relationship with you. Alright guys, so those are my first 5 tips. Make sure you down in the comments that you share your tips for homeschooling. Next week more video, the follow-up video will be coming. And make sure if you haven't already to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Let me know down below if you want more homeschool videos, because this is my life. I could totally homeschool it up. And until next time, have a very blessed day. Bye guys.